Good evening, all. Again, I'm audible to you. Rashida, Venkat, Sana, Farheen.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yesterday, I had shared one link with you that was related to the job creation in India, which was conducted by Indian Express. So why I have shared it with you? Because I wanted you to make note down some points which will be helpful for you in your answer writing in mains exam, right? So I hope all of you have seen that, or all of you have watched that video, and you must have taken some points. I have even shared one notes on the group which was made by one of my students. So just read this point. These points will be helpful for you in writing the answer. Last year in mains exam, there was one question related to the artificial intelligence and reskilling and upskilling. So every year in mains exam, there is at least one topic related to job creation in India, because this is one of the important problem of the Indian economy. So every year there is one topic. Like there are around 6 to 8 topics are given in mains exam for essay writing. So out of those 8 topics, one topic is related to economy, and especially major focus of the UPSC in last 2 3 years is about growth, development, and job creation. So that is why that was important. Today we'll continue with the today's news paper. I'm going to take today edition of Indian Express. If you have any doubts for yesterday's newspaper, because yesterday, because of that session, I couldn't take the newspaper discussion yesterday, and even I have not read newspaper yesterday. Any doubts for yesterday's newspaper or anything important which came in yesterday's newspaper, which that you would like to share with me? Like if you have any doubts about it, you can ask me for yesterday's newspaper. If you are regularly reading newspaper, then you should have read it. Even if I have not taken the class yesterday, then also you are supposed to read the newspaper. Any important news yesterday for him? Have you read it? Check it. Who is there who reads newspaper regularly? I guess Ritika has not joined. Check it. Yes, Mustaqim, anything important in yesterday's newspaper?
सॉरी सर, मैं न्यूज़पेपर कल का नहीं पढ़ पाया, फंक्शन था घर पे.
Okay, ठीक है, चलिए. So we'll start for today's newspaper, right? So can you all see the screen? Is it visible to all of you? चलिए. So the issue between India and China, which is going on every day, there is a news related to that in the headline. So Pongong fingers hot up, scramble for height. That both China and Pakistan is trying to, what you can say, take a position of the peaks of the these ridges. So PLA, that is People's Republic Army of China, men must unreach. India sends more troops. So here they have given that there are various fingers on the Pongong Lake. So finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, finger 5, finger 6. So both Indian and Chinese army are trying to take control of all these peaks. So that is what is going on between India and China. So troops dig in as Chinese make bid to move further west of finger 4. So here you can see the LAC line of action control is here. The line is given here. So this line, which is in the middle of the Pongong Lake. So left side is India's, what you can see, the position, and right side is the China's position. So the China is trying to take position of finger 5, 6, 7, till finger 5, India's position is there. So that is what is explained here. So just read it out. And as we know that our external affairs minister has visited Moscow to attend the SCO meeting. So on the sidelines of that SCO meeting, our Minister of External Affairs Minister has met with the Chinese as well as the Russian External Affairs Minister. So Jai Shankar and Wang hold direct talks for more than 2 hours in Moscow. So what was the talk? What were the topics of the talking? What were the topics of negotiation? That you have to read it from this newspaper. This is very important. I'm expecting a question on this particular topic in mains exam. As well as I'm also expecting a question in essay also on the international relations, especially on the border management. Right hand side, there is one more statement given by our defense minister, that is Rajnath Singh. Rafales send message to those eyeing sovereignty of India. So we know that India has taken 5 Rafale from France, and that from, what you can say, that thing, one second, excuse me. So our defense minister is saying that the Rafale which we have in our kitty now, these are the sign, or these are what is the warning for those countries. Then obviously it was a reference to China, because those the China is trying to take position of India's sovereignty. So in a clear reference to the crisis with China on line of actual control in Ladakh, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh on Thursday said that the induction of Rafale fighter aircraft was a big and stern message for the entire world, especially to those eyeing on our sovereignty. So here, without taking the name of China, our defense minister was trying to give a message to China that our Rafales. Hello, Afik, am I audible to you now? Hello, Afik, can you hear me? सबको मेरी आवाज सुनाई दे रही है?
Yes, sir.
चलिए.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Please mute yourself. So this message which Rajnath Singh trying to say, that it was actually referred to China. Speaking at the induction ceremony of Rafale aircraft in Ambala, which is again having an aircraft, what you can say the what you can say the India's Air Force station. Please do not sign anything on the page. Please erase it. Speaking at the induction ceremony of Rafale aircraft in Ambala, which he presided upon along with which French Defense Minister Florence Parly, Singh said the induction is important considering the kind of atmosphere at our borders, or should I say the kind of atmosphere created at our border. That's what Rajnath Singh is saying. Anyways, left hand side, there is one more important article related to the Reliance retail. Market surges after report says Amazon looking at 40% in Reliance retail. So Amazon is trying to, what you can say, have a tie-up with the Reliance. So 40% of the stakes of the Reliance industry will be taken by Amazon. That is what is mentioned here. Then below, yes. There's no any important news on first page apart from this. I'll go to the next page. If there is any important news, I will let you know. Hi, Manoj. Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll go to the next page. This one report given by the Lancet. The Lancet is one of the, what you can say, the prestigious medical journal, which says that global vaccine confidence survey shows hesitancy hotspots. So there are various places where the vaccine trials are going on. And recently there was one news that the vaccine candidate of Oxford University, it has been stopped in India because of some problems. So the vaccine confidence survey, that people are, whether they have confidence in the vaccine or not. So the survey has been conducted by the Lancet. It says that there are some people who are hesitant about not going for what you can say the vaccine trial. So read this article. There will be no any direct questions, but it will be helpful for you in having a general awareness about the vaccination. Then going for what you can say the next news. Modi and Abe welcome signing of key defense agreement. So a Japanese foreign minister statement said that during the conversation, Abe noted memories for mutual visits. So we have seen that recently the Japanese prime minister has resigned as a prime minister, and we have a good relations with Japan. Japan already always had a what you can say invested in India. So you need to read this article for understanding the India-Japan bilateral relationship. In paper 2, there is one topic called bilateral relationship. So we need to have what you can say some points. We need to know some of the important points related to the bilateral relationship of India with other countries. So India-Japan bilateral relationship. For that, you need to read this article, cut this article, and put it in paper 2, topic India's what you can say the bilateral relationship with India's bilateral relationship with Japan. Okay? Then going to the next page, I'll directly go to the editorial. Yes. So on editorial, crisis and safety net. So yes, yesterday when the discussion was going on about regarding the job creation in India, we have seen that Mahesh Vyas has talked about EPFO. Can anybody tell me why EPFO is a very important organization? Why EPFO is very important in India? What could be the significance of Provident Fund organization? Hello? Okay. Why EPFO is important? Because EPFO is actually gives a data about the formalization of jobs in India, right? Because when a jobs get formalized, then there is deduction of provident fund, there is deduction of what you can say the future security, and that EPFO organization helps in understanding that how much amount of the jobs in India have been formalized, right? So crisis and safety net, you know, I always talk about, like in India, there is formal sector and informal sector, or unorganized sector and organized sector. So what is the difference between this organized sector and unorganized sector? What is the basic difference? Yes, Gitanjali? Abhi join kiya hai? So what is the difference between this organized sector or unorganized sector, or what you can say the formal sector and informal sector? Kya basic difference kya hota hai usme?
Organized sector has its transaction registered and unorganized में वो registered नहीं होता.
Okay, उसके अलावा can anybody else tell me what is the importance of this, what you can say the formalization? So formalization, formal jobs give safety net. Safety net means what? Okay, when you formalize your job, or a company gives you a formal job, then it means that you will get a what you can say fixed salary, you will get minimum wages as per the Minimum Wages Act, and you will also get some future security. You will get some safety, like for example, you will get pension in future. You will get what you can say, suppose if there is any health problem, then you will get treatment in the ESIC hospital. So all these safety nets are given to the job holders in the formal sector. While in informal sector, like for example, agricultural laborers or vegetable vendors or tea shop owners, the tea sellers, these are informal sector, and they do not have any safety net in case of what you can say uncertain situation, right? So in uncertain environment, that is what is mentioned, that the crisis and safety net is required. So in uncertain environment, EPFO must align itself with interest rates in broader economy, avoid risk. That is what is mentioned here. So the basic difference between the organized sector and unorganized sector is the safety net, which the organized sector have and unorganized sector do not have it. That's safety net. Got it, Arif? You want to ask something about it? Arif Ahmed Malik, any doubt? Okay, Gitanjali, have you got it? What is the difference between formal and informal? Formal sector has safety net. And what is that safety? That it has a safety regarding the pension, it has a safety regarding health problem, it has a safety regarding the wages, it has safety regarding the salary, right? So that is what is important.
Yes.
So read this article, why this EPFO is important, how it works, how the Provident Fund organization gives salaries in future, and how it gives the interest, and what is that interest rate. All these things have been explained here. So you, all of you, just read this article. Then next is monsoon twist. So I'm going to start geography of India maybe on Monday, and in that geography of India, I'm going to discuss with you all the monsoon mechanism. And when we discuss the monsoon mechanism, we know that the nature of the monsoon in India is erratic. The nature of the monsoon in India is completely uncertain. कभी कभार बहुत ज्यादा बारिश आती है, कभी कभार बहुत कम बारिश आती है, कभी एक जगह पर ज्यादा बारिश आती है, कभी एक जगह पर बहुत कम बारिश आती है. So now we can see that in the first 1 or 2 months, the monsoon rainfall was very high, but now we can say that there is a temporal as well as the spatial variation in the rainfall distribution in India. Temporal and spatial variation. अब वो spatial variation क्या होता है और temporal variation क्या होता है, that we will discuss when I will be discussing the geography of India, and within geography of India I will be discussing the monsoon mechanism in India. So temporal distribution of rain may be a problem, but government resolve of freeing agriculture market must not waver. So Sonali, can you tell me what is temporal distribution of rainfall? Do you remember while I was discussing the geography of India, I have explained to you there are two types of variation in the monsoon in India, that is in the rainfall distribution in India. One is called the temporal distribution and another is called a spatial distribution. So what is the temporal distribution, Sonali? Am I audible to you? Sonali, yes or no? माहित आहे का नाही ते तरी सांग कमीत कमी. ठीक, I guess I'm not getting her voice. Yes, Farheen, if you want to answer this question, you can answer.
Sir, Pratiksha.
हाँ, बोल प्रतीक्षा.
It is related to time period.
हाँ, what is that temporal, or you can say the variation?
सर म्हणजे तिथं रेनफॉलचं जे ड्युरेशन आहे टाइमचं ते
काय आहे मग कळालं. टेम्पोरल डिस्ट्रीब्युशनचं मीनिंग कळालं, पण what type of temporal variation or temporal distribution of rainfall we have in India?
Don't know, sir.
Don't know. Yes, Gulami Mustafa, बताओ जल्दी fast.
Don't know, sir.
You don't know. See, simple है. In India, the temporal variation means that rainfall is concentrated only in 4 months. That is June, July, August, September. In remaining 8 months, there is no rainfall, right? So time period means what? In India, the rainfall is concentrated only in 4 months. And obviously remaining 4 months, we have a dry period. And during that dry period, the irrigation or the water is not available for the farmers in India. And that is the reason in India, the farmers grow the crops only during the rainy season. And in some areas where the irrigation facility have been created, there they have what you can say, they can take the crops, right? So there is one of the important limitation of the agriculture in India, that is the temporal distribution. मतलब पूरे साल भर में सिर्फ 4 महीने बारिश आती है, कुछ जगहों पे तो सिर्फ 2 महीने बारिश आती है. मतलब साउथ इंडिया में 4 महीने बारिश आती है. इन नॉर्थ इंडिया, स्पेशली इन यूपी, बिहार and Delhi and Haryana and Punjab, there the monsoon reach in the middle of July, and again it retreats in the month of September. So they have rainfall only in the 2 months, right? So this temporal distribution of rain may be a problem for Indian economy, but what it is mentioned, but government resolve of freeing the agricultural markets must not waver. So we know that because of this temporal distribution, temporal what you can say the variation, the bumper production takes place in a particular season. And because of that, whatever the production, whatever the producers are there, farmers try to sell it in that particular season itself. So that is what is one of the important problem in Indian agriculture, right? So in paper 3, there is one topic called issues of the farmers in India, and again issues related to MSP, issues related to marketing of the agricultural produce. If anyone is having the syllabus of paper 3, can you please read it out for me, that what is mentioned in paper 3 related to the agricultural issue? There is one topic related to the marketing of the agricultural produce. Yes, Mustaqim, do you have the syllabus with you?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो what is that
Transport,
topic? Can you? हाँ,
yes, sir. Transport and marketing of agricultural produce and issues and related constraints.
very good. So transport and क्या है? Transport and marketing. Transport and marketing of the agricultural produce. Issues, the issues of the agricultural market and agricultural, what you can say, the transport, and constraint, what are the constraints, that is what is the topic in the main. So you have to read this article and you have to cut this article and put it in paper 3. So पहले basic आपको देखना है कि what are the problems of the Indian agricultural market as well as the transport. So that is what is explained here. So read this article and put it in what you can say in paper 3 topic. So what article says that southwest monsoon rainfall has been 6.6% surplus so far. Farmers have sown 6.3% more area under kharif crops compared to last year. Our retail fertilizer sales during the April-August were up by 33% and over the same period of 2019. And that's the reason why we can say that even after the contraction of the economy in other sector, agricultural sector has not seen any economic contraction. All of you know, recently जो data release हुआ था about the economic contraction of the country, that is GDP data, उसमें हमने देखा था कि agriculture sector 6% surplus है, बाकी के सारे contract हुए हैं. The reason is the what you can say the good rainfall this year. So average rainfall से 6.6% rainfall surplus है so far, means again till 2 months are left. So and again 6.3% more area have been sown, and again fertilizer sales have gone up. So with the desert locust tour not wreaking havoc was initially what you can say the feared, a bumper kharif harvest seems in the offing on the top of excellent rabi crop that helped the farm sector grow by 3.4% during the April-June amid the overall economy shrinking by 22.8%. So in spite of economic shrinking, but agricultural sector did not shrink. So that is what is mentioned here. So, but as story in this newspaper has shown, it isn't simple as that. Yes, the monsoon has been good at an aggregate level and also spatially well distributed, with only 3 there out of 3, what you can say, the 36 meteorological subdivisions registering deficient rains. The problem though has been with the temporal distribution. So spatial distribution, and so spatially there was well distribution, but temporal variation से थोड़ा सा problem है. This time the monsoon arrived well in time, leading to aggressive planting by farmers. The rains were 17.6% above normal in June. However, July only recorded a 9.7 deficit. The whole Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, mainland Gujarat witnessed a dry spell that extended beyond the first week of August. We will see all this, like why some part of the country experiences a dry spell during the monsoon period. मतलब 4 महीने तो बारिश होती है, but उन 4 महीनों में भी कुछ जगहों पर there is a dry spell experienced in India. What is the reason for that? That also we are going to discuss about it. But then monsoon revealed so much as to cause flooding and waterlogged fields in the very same areas. The soya bean, urad, that is black gram, chili and banana crops in Madhya Pradesh have suffered large-scale damage from excess rains through the last week of August. There are similar reports of massive losses to the standing crop kharif onions in North Karnataka, which normally arrive in the market from September. All hopes now are on the new crop of Maharashtra, which will start coming only towards October end. In short, we can say that while the current kharif season's production is definitely going to be better than last year's, which impacted by the monsoon's poor first half performance, how much better remains to be said. It is quite possible that benefits of 26.6% surplus August rains plus forecast of wet winter from developing La Nina, because La Nina is going to be there. So La Nina has been developed, and we also see what is the impact of La Nina on Indian monsoon. कुछ लोगों को already पता होगा, और जिनको नहीं पता है, I am going to discuss with you all what is the impact of La Nina on Indian monsoon. So La Nina weather event would be felt more in the coming Rabi season, but in the immediate run, one can expect prices of onions maybe pulses to firm up, aided also by festival season, demand and a recovery sorts underway in global, what you can say, the commodity market. So that could test NDA government's resolve to stick to their to its recent reforms of freeing the agricultural markets and imposing stockholding limits only in extraordinary situation. So we have seen that recently the government has tried to create many reforms in the agricultural sector by freeing the markets, by abolishing the APMC Act, by allowing the farmers to what you can say sell their produce wherever they want, by allowing them to have contract with the private companies. So the recent initiatives taken by the government in terms of freeing the agricultural markets need to be continued in such extraordinary situation. That is what is the conclusion of the editorial. So read this article, cut this article, and put it in paper 3. Paper 3 topic, issues related to the agricultural transport and marketing. Then right hand side, let me see if there is any important article written by Sushil Kumar Modi. Anyone knows? Yes, Sania, boliye.
सर रबी सीजन में नहीं?
रबी सीजन मतलब अभी जो बारिश में जो क्रॉप ग्रो किए जाते हैं उनको खरीफ क्रॉप कहा जाता है, और रबी सीजन मतलब अभी विंटर सीजन में कुछ क्रॉप्स लिए जाते हैं जैसे कि वीट, देन जवार, then some of the crops are grown into like harbara or gram. These are the crops which are grown in the winter season. So that season is called as rabi season. So इंडिया में क्रॉप के 2 सीजन है exactly. वैसे देखा जाए तो 3 सीजन है, रबी, खरीफ एंड जायद, but 2 important seasons are there, that is खरीफ and रबी सीजन. So रबी सीजन जो विंटर में जो क्रॉप ग्रो किए जाते हैं उस सीजन में उसको रबी सीजन कहा जाता है. क्लियर सानिया?
यस सर.
ठीक है, चलिए. Now there is one more article written by Sushil Kumar Modi. Anyone knows who is Sushil Kumar Modi?
Yes, sir. Bihar
Yes.
Deputy Chief Minister and Finance Minister.
Very good. So he is current what you can say the Finance Minister of Bihar, and he is also the Deputy Chairman. But at the same time, why he is very important? Because he was the one who chaired the committee regarding the implementation of GST. GST का structure कैसे होना चाहिए, GST compensation कैसे होना चाहिए, GST का टैक्स रेट कैसे होना चाहिए, उसके लिए बिफोर जीएसटी वाज इम्प्लीमेंटेड एक कमिटी बनाई गई थी, एक पार्लियामेंट्री कमिटी, एंड दैट कमिटी वाज हेडेड बाय सुशील कुमार मोदी. सो he has written an article about the GST today because obviously he is the person who has what I can say led all the conversation and deliberations between the union government and state governments on the basis of the recommendations given by Sushil Kumar Modi report only the GST का structure बनाया गया था. So that's why he has written an article about the recent issue about the GST compensation. So not center versus state. He is saying that this issue is not about central government versus state government. This is what he is saying, that ki on GST compensation, the way out requires states to come forward to work with center, because we have seen that recently the union government has given an offer for the state government to borrow money to come up with the compensation, but some of the state government, especially non-BJP state, ruled state governments, are not willing to borrow the money. In fact, they are asking the central government to give them the money. So that is what is mentioned here, that ki on GST, it should not be a center versus state dispute or center versus state, what you can say the problem. The way out requires the states to come forward to work with the center in such extraordinary situation. That's what Sushil Kumar Modi is saying. So why he's saying so? Because obviously he is a part of NDA. He's a part of the union government, union, what you can say the political party, like his political party, that is Janata Dal Union, is a alliance with the BJP. So obviously he will support the union government. That is what is mentioned here. So what he says that it makes sense for the states to borrow. The two options presented in this context involve borrowing by the states. In one option, the entire shortfall can be borrowed in one go, while only the shortfall attributed to GST implementation is to be borrowed in the other option, with the remaining shortfall to be made good from the cess fund post the transition period. In both the options, the principal amount will be serviced from the cess fund. Of the two options presented by the center, option 1 seems to be superior in all respects. So this article will help you in understanding what are the various options offered by the union government to the state governments regarding the GST compensation issues. So just read it out. In paper 2, there is one topic, as I already told you. The topic is the devolution of power and finances to the local level. That is a topic. So obviously the GST compensation is actually an issue of a union state financial relations. So read this article, take some important points and put it in paper 2 topic. Issues related to the federalism and devolution of power and finances to the local level. Going to the next page, that is on ideas page. Don't look back in anger. Article written by Amrita Datta. A society must lives in denial of its trauma and rage will turn to itself. We must have turned a Riya Chakraborty and her family with ferocity of an unhinged mob. Check it. So this is related to the Riya Chakraborty issue. Right hand side, there is one article written by Salman Khurshid, who is a senior leader of Congress. So he says that parliaments do not dispense with question even time of war. If questions are disallowed in parliament, more will be asked outside it. So this article he has been written in the context of recent decision of the government to not allow zero questions and zero hour and question hour. क्वेश्चन आर 0 आवर से रिलेटेड ये आर्टिकल लिखा हुआ है. तो अगर पार्लियामेंट में एमपीज को क्वेश्चन नहीं अगर पूछने की मतलब परमिशन मिलेगी, देन ऑब्वियसली क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड आउटसाइड ऑफ इट, राइट? सो डेमोक्रेसी इन क्वेश्चन, दैट इज व्हाट इज आस्क्ड हियर, and we know that India is a parliamentary type of democracy, and in parliamentary type of democracy it's very important for the members or the legislature, that is member of parliament, to ask questions to the government. So even in war situation the member of parliament can ask question to the government. ये तो pandemic उतनी बड़ी चीज नहीं है. So that is what is mentioned here. Parliament do not dispense with questions even in time of war. If questions are dissolved in parliament, more will be asked outside it. It's a very important topic. I'm expecting a question in the mains exam related to this particular issue of the parliamentary functioning. As we have already discussed with you कि इससे related एक question mains exam में आ सकता है about in the topic functioning of the parliament. In paper 2 there is one topic called structure, composition and functioning of the union and state legislature. And obviously तो ये parliamentary structuring का parliamentary function का एक part है, वहां पर क्वेश्चन पूछे जाने चाहिए. अब ये क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछे जा रहे हैं तो as per Salman Khurshid, democracy is in danger or democracy is in question. That's what he said. So read this article, take some of the important points. Why asking question to the government is very important in the parliament. Take some points and put it in paper 2 topic, functioning of the parliament. Any doubts about it, about this particular article? Check it. Now going to the next article written by Bhagwan Chaudhary, the digital Didis. Digitalization हम देख रहे हैं. An army of helpers could be raised to facilitate transactions, complete transformation. So digital economy या फिर digitalization of the economy हम सोच रहे थे. So यहाँ पर एक क्वेश्चन पूछा गया, यहाँ पर दिया जैम ट्रिनिटी का दिया गया, जनधन योजना, फिर आधार, and यम का मतलब I forgot it. यम means, anyone knows what is यम? जैम ट्रिनिटी एक वर्ड यूज किया गया था इकोनॉमिक सर्वे में. So जनधन योजना, then आधार and mobile banking. So ये तीनों को मिलाकर जैम ट्रिनिटी होता है. So this is an attempt of financial inclusion. In paper 2 there is one topic called inclusive growth. So how digitalization of the Indian economy, digitalization of the economic transaction may lead to financial inclusion is article given here. So read this article. The digital Didis. Digital Didis means obviously मुझे लगता है शायद हो सकता है कि the women who helps the people in digital transaction, शायद उनको digital दीदी ये word use किया गया होगा maybe. Read this article and put it in paper 2 topic, inclusive growth. Inclusive growth का मतलब होता है कि growth अगर हो रही है इकोनॉमी की तो वो inclusive होने चाहिए. All the section of the society should be getting the benefits of the growth of the country. So digitalization can help in inclusive growth. That is what is mentioned here. So the last paragraph says that कि चलो दीदी से पूछ लो, with didis everywhere could help make the digital transformation of India complete. So digitalization से related article है, पढ़ लीजिए. Take some points. Unexplained page, should you dip into your EPF and employee provident fund से related दिया गया, जैसे मैंने ऊपर बताया था what is important. So amid job losses, pay cuts and end of loan moratorium and a proposed split in interest payment on provident fund, should you withdraw from your PF? Should you withdraw your money? It depends on your need and how it affects your credit history. Because अगर आपका job खत्म हो गया है, payment कम हो गया है अब लोन का जो मोरेटोरियम वो खत्म हो गया, अगर आपको पेमेंट करना है, आपको खत्म करना है, मतलब यू वांट टू पे योर ईएमआई, देन ऑब्वियसली, और अगर प्रोविडेंट फंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इंटरेस्ट रेट कम कर रहा है तो ऐसे सिचुएशन में आप क्या कर सकते हो, यू कैन विड्रॉ योर मनी फ्रॉम द प्रोविडेंट फंड एंड पे योर ईएमआई, पे योर व्हाट इज द installments. That is what is the option left with you. So it is explained here कि should you withdraw your money from the provident fund, means obviously those who have money in the provident fund, those who are salaried, और जिनकी salaried थे, अब कल हमने देखा था कि महेश बात was saying कि many salaried people also have lost their job in this pandemic. So that is what is explained here. So should you withdraw the money depends on your need and how it affects on your credit history. Now 1 minute is left. I guess meeting will end. If the meeting ends and if the newspaper is not over, all of you please join again by using the same link so that we can continue with the new with the economics news today. Chali. So censorship before a show, the law and ruling. Censorship, TV and the book release, censorship से related कुछ कानून यहाँ पे बताए गए, तो just read it out. Okay. So one-time loan recast, what RBI expert panel has recommended. So I've seen that recently expert panel was formed to give the recommendation regarding the recasting of the loan under the chairmanship of KV Kamath. So it has submitted its report. So what are